From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, April the 27th, 2022. Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Martyrs and Heroes Remembrance Day, remembering the 6 million Jews murdered by the Nazis during the Holocaust, began this evening with a live broadcast from Yad Vashem, the World Holocaust Remembrance Center in Jerusalem. The annual commemoration was attended by Israel's leaders, Holocaust survivors, and dignitaries from around the world, including the president of Germany's parliament, the Bundestag, Babel Bas, who arrived in Israel today, invited to come and take part in the memorial events by Speaker of the Knesset, Miki Levy. And before her official welcome at the Knesset today, Bas toured Yad Vashem with Levy. Bas was then received at Israel's parliament with an honor guard, and she signed the Knesset guest book, writing in part, "I humbly bow my head as I reflect upon the inconceivable suffering of the victims of the crimes against humanity committed by the Germans. The lessons of the Holocaust," she wrote, "require us to never tolerate the emergence and spread of anti-Semitism. Germany's responsibility has not ended. We stand with Israel." By the way, we will air the ceremony from Yad Vashem for you here on JBS Thursday night. Bas today also met with Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett before the ceremony this evening at his office in Jerusalem, alongside Israeli Ambassador Designate to Germany, Ron Prasor, and German Ambassador to Israel, Dr. Suzanne Wassam-Reiner. Tel Aviv University released its study on anti-Semitism around the world for 2021, similar in its findings to the audit released this week by the Anti-Defamation League of Anti-Semitism in the U.S. for last year. Like the ADL audit, the School Center for the Study of Contemporary European Jewry found anti-Semitic incidents spiked in 2021, especially around the time of Israel's war with terror group Hamas in Gaza in May. Not only in the U.S., but around the world. The center's Dr. Carl Yanker spoke of the phenomenon.
The largest number of incidents that we see recorded usually, or that we saw in 2021, happened in May during the Gaza-Israel conflict. In Canada, B'nai B'rith recorded the largest number of incidents on record, including over 60 violent incidents. This pattern was also developed or also shown in the United Kingdom, in Austria, and several other countries that we studied, really showing that there's this connection between what happens in Israel and how it affects the Jewish community abroad, or how the Jewish community abroad becomes a target.
Other countries noted for sharp increases during this time last year included France, where anti-Semitic incidents went up 74% from the previous year. The president of Poland, Andrzej Duda, is participating in the March of the Living for Yom HaShoah at the site of the Auschwitz death camp in Poland, taking place tomorrow, Thursday. Duda will walk the approximate 2 miles from Auschwitz to Auschwitz-Birkenau, alongside some 3,000 participants, including Holocaust survivors and people from 25 countries around the world, including refugees from Ukraine. International March of the Living President Phyllis Greenberg Heidemann and Chairman Dr. Shmuel Rosenman said, "We are honored by President Duda's participation in this historic march, with the shadow of war once again hanging over Europe and Poland hosting millions of refugees from the ongoing war. President Duda's participation pays tribute to the memory of the victims of the Holocaust and will serve as a clear statement against the dangers of anti-Semitism, hatred, racism, and intolerance." And just ahead of Yom HaShoah, Israel's Ministry of Social Equality published data on the 161,400 Holocaust survivors living in Israel today. That number also includes those who were victims of anti-Semitic harassment during the Holocaust. The average age of Holocaust survivors in Israel, the study said, was 85 and a half, with 31,500 over the age of 90 and over 1,000 having reached the age of 100. 15,553 survivors died in Israel over the past year. which is an average of more than 42 a day. Social Equity Minister Meirav Cohen said the mission to help the aging survivors, which includes financial assistance, home care, weekly visits from volunteers, and medical care, was extremely urgent, saying our moral duty as a society is to take care and make sure that those who have gone through the worst atrocities in history due to being Jews will have the privilege of living and aging with dignity in their national home in the Jewish state. And again, a reminder for you that JBS will air the official state ceremony from Yad Vashem for Yom HaShoah, Thursday, April the 28th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Preceded at 7 with a special interview with Yad Vashem Chair Dani Dayan and Holocaust survivor and torchlighter in the Yad Vashem ceremony, Olga Kay. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, April the 27th, 2022. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well.